Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I know I have not uploaded in a while, but I wanted to rant because there is a Mario game I think is very underrated, and people only ever talk about Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and then, the newer Super Mario Wonder. That was a fun time. Uh, and then the 3D Marios. But when it comes to 2D Mario, my personal favorite, and one of the ones I absolutely love to death, is Super Mario Land 2. This game is goated, and I'm going to explain why. First thing I'm going to mention here, just on my little first screen here of my wonderful slide, is, look at that cover art. Is that not awesome? Oh, man. The cover of this game is so cool. I even liked it so much, seeing that cover art when I was a little wee boy. I would love to have that very well in condition 95 grade VGA whatever copy of it on the bottom right there. Anyways, now here's the first point of why this game's awesome. The main point I have is that the game is very creative, and I'm going to show you some of the places where it is very creative. Now the first point I'd love to mention where it's creative is the enemies. There are so many wacky and interesting enemies in this game. I've just put the official artwork of a bunch of them all over the place on this slide. They look even crazier in the game. Well, a little less crazy in the game, but they still look wacky. They look awesome inside of the game, and you're getting new enemies every single level. It is awesome. You'll just see an enemy, go, holy cow, what the heck is that? Experience it a couple times, and then you're already going to do that again the next level. You don't get this repetitive garbage where you're getting Koopas, Goombas, Piranha Plants, and Hammer Bros. Just every level's in the same points of the games. The 2D Mario games have a pretty big problem of just repeating the same tropes, and this was a big problem with the new Super Mario Brothers games that have been plaguing the last decade. They were awful. They would just give you the same enemies over and over again. In this game, you go in and you'll see an enemy in just one level, and you'll see it a couple times, experience its wacky little gimmick, and then you just move on to the next thing. And it's beautiful. Some of these enemies look so neat. There's a little bear on a ball. That guy's cool. There's a little Dracula-like vampire guy that throws a bat at you. There's a level inside of a bee's nest, and then there's like eggs that pop out and go after you. What the hell? This is so surprising. There's this awesome guy that looks like Saturn. He's a planet, but he shoots a little star out. Awesome. This umbrella, you don't even notice in the game that it has a foot, but in the official artwork, it's a foot. It's kind of creepy. You got my guy, the Moo Fish. He looks awesome in game. I love the Moo Fish. He's swimming around in like tree sap or whatever. It's very interesting, very varied. Yeah, I love it. Next up, the worlds. Now, a lot of recent Mario games have had this issue. This is both in 2D Mario and even in some 3D Marios, where it's the same world themes every time. World 1's is going to be just some like grassy plain / mushroomy area. There's going to be a forest world. There's going to be a desert world, a snow world, a lava world, a lot of times a sky world or like a sea world. And that's it. And they always do these same kind of tropes. And I've showed the worlds of New Super Mario Bros. Wii in the top left to kind of show that. This is the kind of world they kept doing over and over again. I'm so sick of the second world of every game being a sand world. They're all copying Mario 3. Like, Mario 3 did it once, and then all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games did it. Heck, even Odyssey did it, where the second world's a sand world. Slightly more unique because they mixed ice with it. Ooh. Now, Super Mario Land 2, you got some actual interesting world themes. You got, the Turtle Zone. It's not just a normal sea world. You're going actually underwater, inside through a turtle, and you got these crazy levels where you're in a sunken submarine and inside of a whale and stuff. That's awesome. The Macro Zone, it's like you're shrunk down like Ant-Man and you're going around on like books as obstacles and stuff like that. It's crazy. The pumpkin zone's a very well done, like spooky Halloween themed world. Lots of pumpkins, witches, zombies, vampires. Awesome. Not just one boo house with just ghost. It's all the spooky stuff. It's the first time Mario went into space with the space zone where you're on the moon and then you're floating around in the stars. And then my very favorite, the Mario zone where you're going through a big robotic Mario. That's sick as hell. Boom. Now, the levels themselves are also very creative. At the bottom here, I have the level where you're inside of a whale. You're literally inside of a whale, and you even see his like teeth around and stuff. They're officially listed as tusk, but they're teeth. And yeah, Bowser's Inside Story isn't the first to do it. You got the level where you're shrunken inside of the house and you're jumping around books and stuff like that. You got the level where you're inside of a giant like bee nest. Love that one. And when you get to Mario's robotic crotch, you're in a big ball level. That's funny as hell. And you're constantly going around on different little locations and whatnot. It keeps it interesting. Now, the next thing I want to mention is that this game does let you choose whatever level you want. And this is a fun way for it to not be the same playthrough every time for everybody. People will pick different levels and orders and whatnot. And I like that. And that's a fun way of having some non-linearity. Non-linearity is tackled very differently nowadays. They just want a big open world, and they call that awesome. And then it usually just leads to this picture on the right here, where you're just big, empty, nothing field. Oh, cool, I get a nice open world for me to walk through and do nothing. Great, you've accomplished nothing. I'd rather go through fun zones with fun enemies and interesting locations. Not just grassy plain, occasionally a tree, maybe a river. Pfft, lame. Now, third point, Wario was introduced in this game. He's an awesome mainstay. I didn't even put any text on this slide because I don't need any. You can see him. He's awesome. And he's been in so many games since because he was a really cool character. And this game introduced him. And he's a great little final boss. And actually, his final level, Wario's Castle, is actually pretty difficult. They did a good job at making it a lot more interesting and difficult than most of the Bowser's Castle's levels at the end of the other games. Now, the last thing I want to mention is that, weirdly enough, this game does have like a little bit of lore. Nothing too crazy, but it's pretty funny. It's never really shown like afterwards that Wario has some kind of dark magic. Yeah, and this is the only time where he's shown that he has dark magic. He uses dark magic to hypnotize Mario's entire island into being against him. Yeah, this whole island that you're on is actually Mario's private island because he's secretly rich AF. So Wario hypnotizes them all and has them defend the golden coins. And this is all because Wario lost whenever they played games as a kid between him and Mario. So, yeah, a little backstory, a little lore. I also put the picture of the crazy commercial where he tries to hypnotize you. Wario officially has dark magic and hypnosis powers. That's pretty sick. I wish they brought that out more. Same for Bowser and his dark magic. That's had a couple reappearances. But Wario? Where's Wario's dark magic? Bring it back. Anyways, in conclusion, you've got to play Super Mario Land 2. It's a very fun time. And I love this game. You know what? I might even make a video where I play through it. That'd be pretty cool. Anyways, boo-bye. Oh, and one last bonus thing I wanted to mention is you should go onto the Super Mario Land 2 page on Wikipedia and just check out the enemies. Like I said, this game has a ton of enemies and not even all that many levels. It's a pretty short game, but it's introducing new stuff all the time. I mean, these enemies are so wacky, and they've got some crazy names. Although some of them have more simple names, like Ant and Bear. But yeah, there's beetles and frogs and umbrellas and weird Wario balls of death. You got Don Don. He's a cool little bird. Tell me you don't like Don Don. Yeah, I mean, little brooms, little moles with drill faces. There's some pretty dang cool stuff. I mean, some of them are a little bit basic. This is like that weird enemy I mentioned. I don't know why, but in the level called Honeybees, where you're in the bee's nest, there's these floating eggs that start spiraling towards you. It's terrifying. I find them such a neat little enemy. Oh, and one last thing I didn't mention about the game that's pretty cool is there are 6 secret courses. I do like when there's secret courses in these Mario games. It has become pretty common, and it's one of the trends that I have liked with the 2D Mario games. Super Mario World did the most amount of these secrets, and I found that pretty fun. It's one of my favorite parts of it. Oh, and I didn't even mention one of my favorite enemies, the Piku. It's literally just like a cut-off tail or like a leech or something. I don't know. It's terrifying. This is, of course, in the Halloween zone. But yeah, it's a little bit creepy and a little bit dark. Gotta love the Piku. But yeah, worth checking out. This game is pretty lit. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Boo-bye. For real this time.